how about getting terrific gaming experience at a budget price? The Infinix GT 50 Pro promises exactly that, but do we actually have a proof? Let's inspect. Sweet, yeah? This is the GT50 model by Infinix, and I'm the TechMishka. Nice to meet you. I've tested the last two generations of this lineup, and this is clearly Infinix doubling down on gaming and sustained performance. Well, this time, I believe they nailed the cooling, but more importantly, the usual question would be, how does the whole experience feel in real life? Here's my verdict early in a short form. This is one of the best value high-end mid-range smartphones of the year, especially if gaming matters to you. But yeah, there are a few buts. It's not perfect, yet even if you ignore the gaming aesthetics, this phone delivers surprisingly complete experience. You just need to understand where the corners are cut. Let me show you. I'll begin with something which is probably unexpected. My favorite part is not the cooling system, not the shoulder triggers, which I'm going to talk about in a moment, not even the frame interpolation technology that is quite a significant happening. It's the display. Yes, the colors are a bit pumped up, but the overall experience is incredibly crisp and visually pleasing. Everything just looks better. Whether you're gaming or watching content, it feels immersive in a way that is hard to explain until you see it. Now, on paper, Infinix claims up to 4500 nits peak brightness in HDR, which sounds insane. So how is that possible on a cheaper phone? Simple. This is an LTPS panel and not LTPO, which means fixed refresh rates, 60, 90, 120, 144 Hz, and overall less power efficiency compared to flagship panels. But the trade-off is aggressive brightness and punchier visuals. I'm also testing for you the PWM dimming. That's the flicker that sensitive users sometimes notice. And yes, it's very high frequency, which is a good thing. Most people won't notice any flickering at all. Long story short, this is a fantastic display, but it comes at the cost of slightly higher power consumption. Now, let's talk gaming properly. I use a thermal camera to track the temperatures and the frame rates in real time, and what impressed me is that after 30 minutes of gaming, performance stays almost identical to what it used to be at the start, with or even without external cooling, which tells you everything. The built-in cooling system is excellent. Infinix talks about ultra-large graphite sheets and about advanced thermal materials, so there's a lot of marketing, but yes, the result is real. It's one of the most thermally stable phones I've ever tested in this class. And still, I'm not fully convinced that you need the external cooler. Maybe if you're gaming outdoors in the summer, then yes, it makes sense. But indoors, the phone holds its own extremely well. Performance is powered by the MediaTek Dimensity 8400 Ultimate, and I'll say this again, it remains one of my favorite chipsets. It is fast, efficient, very stable under load. There also is the MediaTek frame rate converter feature, which is supposed to boost frame rates via interpolation. Personally, I didn't really feel any difference, but that's because everything already runs smoothly. Call of Duty Mobile at maximum settings? No problem. Stable, fluid, and reliable. For everyday use, editing, multitasking, general performance, this phone is more than enough. If you care about design, and with gaming phones you probably do, Infinix definitely delivers. The unboxing experience feels premium, and the phone itself has a very distinct personality. The Kevlar-like texture gives it structure and the grip, and overall this feels solid in the hand. The shoulder triggers are pressure sensitive and customizable. You can use them in games, but also assign shortcuts. For example, double press to open the torch, or whatever app you want on a long press. That's actually quite useful. There also is RGB lighting on the back, not something I personally care about, but it's there if you want it, and it can even be used for notifications. And then we have the magnetic system, which only works with a case, and yes, basically MagSafe style, which lets you attach this wireless cooling fan. It's a big shift compared to the previous generations. The tech specs are for sure interesting. Here it's worth mentioning that inside there's a custom-made network chip which is supposed to provide better cellular and Wi-Fi experience. I didn't notice much of a difference compared to my other phones. The advanced integration of the system on a chip with the new frame rate converter option by MediaTek is also very interesting. And also the fairly large battery inside, yet the phone, as you can notice, remains very slim. And inside we have 6,500 mAh battery. And importantly, it's a silicon carbon battery, which means higher energy density, which explains how the phone stays relatively slim despite the large capacity. Charging is solid 45 watts with wire, 30 watts wireless charging, which is still rare in this segment. And the battery life, it depends heavily on how you use it. For indoor gaming, excellent screen on times. Outdoor gaming in hot weather, expect around 4 to 5 hours, mainly because of display power draw and the heat generated out of the battery. And I think this would be the use case where the external cooling makes best sense. With normal usage, I would say about hour and a half gaming per day, around 30 hours are easily achievable. And that's a noticeable improvement over the previous generation. And now after checking most of the hardware that matters about the gaming phone, we somehow disregarded what we have on the back. Let me talk about the camera. I'll be honest, I had low expectations here. This is a gaming phone after all, but sometimes that's exactly when a device surprises you. The main camera actually delivers decent results, especially in daylight. Straight photography looks good, detail is acceptable, and overall it's usable. I couldn't narrow down the exact image sensor model, yet we know enough about its dimensions, the pixel size, and now we can see a lot more about the performance. Portrait mode, however, is a bit of a mixed bag. The AI processing can be way too aggressive, and I often prefer to keep the standard photo and edit it later. The video side is also interesting. You get 4K at 60 frames per second, which is not typical in this segment, and stabilization is very good. Even in low light, results are usable. Ultra-wide camera performance? Let's be realistic, it's here for the convenience. Bright daylight only, because at night the quality drops significantly. The front camera is also fairly basic, but it supports 4K video, which is actually better than many competitors in this price niche. And one important tip, disable the shoulder triggers in camera mode, otherwise you get a lot of accidental presses. As for software, I can say it's fast, but with somewhat limited support. The phone runs the so-called XOS, which is a skin layer on top of course, Android. Looks somewhat like MIUI, but feels faster and more flexible. There's less bloatware, more customization, and useful extras like call recording. But software support is limited to 3 years, which is not great in 2026. This is definitely one of the drawbacks. If I have to narrow down some more, there is no micro SD slot, a slight price increase compared to the predecessor, and the older chipset generation compared to some competitors. At the end of the day, the Infinix GT50 Pro delivers a premium gaming experience with few calculated compromises. You don't get the latest flagship processor, you don't get the best cameras, you don't get long-term software support, but what you do get, the excellent thermal stability, fantastic display, strong battery life, proper gaming features, both hardware and software level, and all of that without costing a fortune. I think this is a gaming phone that actually delivers where it matters and cuts corners where most people won't really care or notice. Should it have longer software support? Absolutely. Is it still a very good choice? Also, yes. That's my experience and my opinion. Now, I'm really curious about yours. What do you think about this one? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and if you want to support the channel, check out the affiliate links, hit the like, subscribe, or share this video with someone who is into tech. And as always, don't buy tech that you don't actually need. I'm the TechMishka, and I'll see you soon. Bye.